Good evening, and welcome to the 2-minute warning. Uh, we're going to be experiencing a lot of. They won't see it? Okay, good. All right. Well, welcome to the 2-minute warning, and I'm here tonight with our special host, David Wright. Our normal host, Perry Busby, is doing a book workshop this evening. He is a published author.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's taking care of some business along. So David and I tonight, as we continue to dialogue with where do we go from here, we have some very insightful guests from all angles and aspects of voting and the election process. So we should have a very engaging conversation. So I don't want to take up too much time. I really want to get right into it.
Well, we do have a few things to cover.
Exactly.
But first off, let me just say what an honor and a pleasure it is just to be here. And kudos to our dear brother Perry. And we can't wait to see more about what he's engaging in. But I think we want to start off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Veterans Day.
Exactly. We were discussing that. So you lead and I follow.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna thank all of those veterans that have served in the armed forces. Some that have given their lives for this country. You know, it's time to just stop and thank those that have worked so hard for our freedom here in the United States. Particularly the African American veterans. You know, my dad was a World War II veteran, and they went through a lot.
Yeah, and my father fought in the Korean conflict. You know, so I too want to take my hat off to the veterans and to those who wanted to go to combat and couldn't. You know, you enlisted to do it, so we say thank you for your willingness and your wanting to serve.
Especially those Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh man, wow!
I have to bring them up.
Speaking of Tuskegee Airmen, Mr. McNair, Henry McNair, he just passed recently. Jonah Brown's father from Mount Hermon A&M Church, AME. Yeah, that was when I hear Tuskegee Airmen, Joe comes to mind. Mr. You remember him? Yeah. So. Yeah, we do have some outstanding servicemen and women. I had the privilege of being one of the first female WAFs when we lived in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, that was quite interesting. So to all of our veterans, thank you so very much, and God bless. Now, to those who joined the show in hopes of hearing from Anthony Davis, the young man that graciously accepted our invitation to come back as opposed to being on the show tonight. Yeah, Anthony served 3 life sentences, and he went into the penal system when he was 14 years old. So we'll have him back on the show. Yeah. And speaking of veterans and death, 2 other strong, indebted people to our society here in Broward County transitioned this week as well. One of them worked for the West Side Gazette for maybe 20, 25 years, Mr. Charles Mosley. Charles was an avid writer, reporter. Whenever it was needed to have a story told or written about the history and those who made it happen here in Broward County, Charles was the one who did it. He chronicled and recorded a lot of our history makers here in Broward County. And Charles transitioned this week as well. So we say to the Mosley family, God bless you all, and may God comfort you in this in this time of need. When you ride down 27th Avenue, that avenue is named after Charles's father. And there's a science building on the campus of Dillard High School that's named after Charles's father, Mr. Mosley. So Chaz, our friend and brother, who wasn't afraid to try anything, we're gonna miss you, bro.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, so write the stories of the angels in heaven.
Yeah, that's one of them Howard Bisons.
Yeah, 06.
Howard University.
Yeah, he would fondly say 06. So to all you alphas out there who may be watching, yeah.
Also, a well-noted coach at Dillard High School, Coach Robert Green, has also transitioned, and our prayers go out to the Green family as well, and all the Dillard alumni and all the people that he touched. Coach Green was just a phenomenal individual, and if you ever rode through the park, a lot of times you'd see him out there with a host of others, Dillard alumni that were truly passionate and loved this community. But Coach Green, another outstanding veteran, and just an outstanding individual. You shall be missed.
Yeah, and I see Hester Samuels. You're absolutely right. Mr. Henry McNair, he passed 4 months after his wife did, and now his wife was a historian in her own right. She recorded and chronicled a lot of the AME history from Mount Hermon. So again, wow, man, wow, there's.
We just got another political icon here in South Florida.
Yes.
Dear Sister Commissioner Sylvia Fortier, I'm seeing on the chat.
Yeah.
Also transitioned.
Yeah, she was one of the first Black commissioners. She put people, and this should be a model for those who want to serve in leadership. Ms. Fortier put people first, and she came second. And that's the way she lived, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah, that's the way she lived. She gave Deerfield Beach hell, for not doing the right thing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Felicia. Yeah. Wow, man. That's that kind of. Ooh.
Well, this is truly part of life, just as these politics that we go through or just have gone through. So I think it's time we might want to go ahead and dive into the show, because we have a lot of people that share their opinions about what just happened.
Okay, let's do it. You want to do late first? Okay, well, all right. Yeah, exactly. It's for now, this young lady, she really needs no introduction. However, I want us to welcome back to the platform, to the 20. If we check our ratings, when this lady came on the show, our rating, because of her frankness, her sincerity, and her willingness to really lay it on the line. So I want to reintroduce to some and bring up a young lady who has really served her community. She's one of the servants of her community. So Miss Mona Lisa Weber, what's happening?
Great rising, everyone. How you doing?
Very well.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Every time I get that call, I'm here.
And we appreciate the fact, Mona Lisa, that you're willing to share. And I think, I know for us, one of the things that we enjoy and love about you is your love for the community and your sincerity. And I believe if Fannie Lou Hamer was alive, she would tell you thank you. So because she didn't play. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Yes, I am a community protector because there's a lot of knowledge that has not been given to us, and there's such high expectations with mediocrity work, or sometimes like less than work. So I'm just a servant. Like, I believe that we're supposed to take care of God's children, right? So I don't like division. I don't like accolades. I don't like photo ops. I don't like anything that the political realm has to bring because it's not genuine. The work shows year round. Like when you put in the work, on a consistent and regular basis, the people gravitate to you. But when you come and you do like all these political, I don't even know what to call it. Just all these like political dances or whatever they want, like, and then expect people to come and do as they say. And it's just like all this fake shit that I really am not down with. But I'm really thankful for the journey because I never understood community work and the connection to political work. So I was led into politics because I was thinking this morning, like, how the heck am I on this show and we're just talking politics? I'm like, I came here to really I like to be hands-on. I like to feed the kids and put knowledge in their head and watch them like open their eyes when they understand things. And also when they understand that they're valuable and that their voices actually matter. So I was reflecting on that today, but I think it was the journey that God led me to in order for me to really be able to be relatable to the community and explain the political game that's not being taught to us by those that are either in it, that were in it, that have passed along. Society has changed completely. So the dialect, language, the way we do things must also accommodate the younger generations. So although I'm in my late 40s, I'm still hip and cool. People think I'm still in my 20s, so I can chill and kick it. You know what I'm saying? And I be dropping it like it's hot, and I be in the crowd just like and I'm just not, I don't judge anybody, right? I think we can all learn from each other. I think that generationally, there's just all these gaps that till this day in 2022, we got our butts whooped. And I don't know if there's going to be future change because one thing I learned is that adults are stuck in their ways, elders are stuck in their ways, and people in general are stuck in their ways, and they don't have any tolerance for the younger generation. They don't want to pass the baton, right? They have like these power trips and it's just too much for me because all I care about is making sure that the youth grow up to take care of the earth that was given to us by God, and we're not doing that. So I appreciate the invite.
Okay, great.
So I guess we're going to go ahead and bring our other guest on. But Sister Mona Lisa, thank you so much for that opening. And as the word I think we were thinking of was grandstanding. You're not one of those grandstanders when it comes to this political arena, correct? I guess she's muted now.
No. I'm authentic. I'm just gonna be honest, whether people like it or not. Like we have a serious issue, so I'm just like I am who I am. That is what it is. So I appreciate it.
All right. So our other guest is a dear friend of ours, somebody that I've known and kind of worked with. This brother has such an extensive resume. I don't even know if we could even tap into a little bit. We'll be here all night. But well known in this community, also in Miami-Dade at Ford Memorial, business entrepreneur. I mean, we could just go on and on about this brother. I hear he can hit a golf ball.
Oh man,
a mile long.
This is the truth. You said it, but we're gonna let him come on. This is the God heaven truth. I'm telling you no lie. We were playing golf right off Oakland Park, and it was dusk was about to set in. I saw Bill McCormick hit a golf ball. He hit the golf ball so hard, literally sparks flew from the head of that club from that ball. And that's the truth.
Well, we're gonna have to bring him on. Have to share a little bit about that. Welcome to the 2-minute war with Mr. McCormick.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start off with 06.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, good evening, brothers, and to my young sister Mona Lisa. Good to be here tonight to share some insight and just enjoy the moment to empower the people with the message.
Right. Yeah, let's get ready. Bill, I want to start with you first, Bill. I got something. I made myself some notes. My question to you now. Both David and I have seen you work. We know your history from the NAACP. So okay. Now, I know when you were the president of the NAACP, the Fort Lauderdale branch, you and your team led one of the largest GOTV events, get out the vote events, campaigns in the history of Broward County during the Gore and Bush presidential election. I want you to think about that for a moment. I want you to go back and remember that was an epic moment here in Broward County. If you were the Florida Democratic Party leader, what would you do to turn around this red political wave in Florida?
Wow. Well, they sure got the butt kicked Thursday, Tuesday. Seemed like a week already. But there's some fundamental problems with the whole Democratic Party that started some years prior to just earlier this week. The first thing is they messaging. They have the wrong message, and I'm not sure if the message is so bad that it don't bring money, or the money is so bad that it don't bring any message. But that message from the Democratic Party is definitely ineffective. Um, they need to be able to attract new voters. Uh, you know, they lost in all 67 counties except Broward, right, with new voters. So the messenger is wrong. They don't know how to attract new voters. Um, and the biggest thing is they don't know how to reduce, or I would reduce, the voter turnout variance. What that means is you can have 100,000 people registered to vote, but if only 2,000 come out, and your opponent has 80,000 and 5,000 come out, you lose. So you got to be able to increase that message, effort, and ground game to get more people to come out. And then a very key piece, you need some quality candidates. I mean, their candidate has no energy. Um, there's no enthusiasm, and they don't come across authentic. In other words, they need to be political gangsters. If people say bad things about you that's not true, then you need to respond. You need to answer it. Call out your opponent. It's like debating. You don't just absorb the fact that, you know, we asking questions like, why you coming to Florida, right? So Democrat will say, well, you come for the beach, the cruise, and the sunshine. You ask the Republican the same question, and they say they come for freedom and no state tax. But everybody still coming to Florida. But look at the difference in the messaging. So the message is totally wrong. And what we did back in 2000 during the Bush Gore election, we didn't turn down any talent. People who wanted to help on the ground game, we used them. I remember this gentleman. I will always remember him. Matter of fact, I still have the CD. He had just been released from prison. He was not eligible to vote, and he said, "Hey, I'm a DJ, and I want to help out." We created a motorcade, a vehicle motorcade, and he burned a CD with 16 of the historic Black Get Out the Vote music. Y'all remember those CDs, right? And we put that in every vehicle, rode through 31 streets, touched thousands of homes, and it was almost like a concert on wheel for the Get Out the Vote. From I'm Black and I'm Proud, and to Martin Luther King speech. I mean, he mixed a great disc. My point is, we took advantage of everybody's talent, and we used it to mobilize, to get people excited about the election. And actually, Gore won the election, but we know about the debacle. But that's what I would do if I was a Democrat and there was a leader of the party. We got to change this whole messaging, find better quality candidates. We got to get that equation right, and definitely find new voters who we're fighting their interests right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I remember those days. Matter of fact, I still have that CD, Bill.
Yes.
I remember us ended up over at the Lauderhill Mall, and there were people that were just totally galvanized. It was so energizing. Such a great moment at that time. We got to continue to move forward. We got to bring that same energy and synergy back to Broward County, back to the state of Florida. And I agree on all your points. Messaging we discussed before has been a problem. There literally is no messaging.
They're just far base. They're not defending anything. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, been in business 32 years. I'm concerned about making sure I can make my payroll and make sure my staff got benefits that I can afford to pay. That's important to me because my and they're not doing that. They're not, they're not talking money. They're talking programs and they're not talking money. This is a money game. Think about it. People run for president for $300,000 and they control trillions of dollars. It ain't about the salary, it's about the pool of money. And we got to understand that game. And until we learn it and then hold them accountable, they have taken the black vote for granted for years. And it has come to bite them because now turnout is low, energy is low. We have to change that because the mobilization, if it don't take place, well, you know what? They're already considering Florida a red state now. It's no longer a swing state. Imagine that one election and they change it.
I was reading this article and it was talking about it was a dismal turnout for Democratic votes. The Republicans came out 2/3. It was two. What was that? I got to read. Anyway, it was 3-1. All right. In some cases, it was 21-1 in terms of Democratic versus Republican to come out and vote. So it was really a butt whooping across the whole state of Florida. So much so that this little county, Dixie County, had more Democrats to come out and vote than any other county in the state of Florida. Dixie, little small place over there near Cedar Key and up in that area. And that anyway. So you're right. But Mona Lisa, let me ask you a question. Now you have been adamant about this whole voting situation. How do you see this? What do you see? Where do we go from here? What do you see? And give it to us.
Okay. This is what I see. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's not taken seriously. I think that those in the political arena are comfortable. They believe that they will keep their power. How I see it is we got to rise up the streets and get some street soldiers in these offices so they can go ahead and handle real situations. We no longer want the cookie cutter, politically correct people speaking for us. We don't want that. We don't want it. We don't friggin' want it. We want real, authentic people that can actually curse every once in a while, that can be relatable, that can bring about the information in a way where we can actually understand it. All this fancy, smancy words and all this, like cliquic stuff. Like one of the worst things is political cliques. I can't stand them, right? I go to Souls to the Polls and everybody's under their own little tent. All these organizations and all these other folks are like celebrating each other. And I look around, I don't see a damn lick, nobody from the community. But you 3 streets down from the hood, though. You 3 streets down from the hood. Like you 3, like literally, I could look at the community right there, and it's and Souls to the Polls is empty. Or if it's not empty, is the same people, the same super voters, because we're under a system that the voting system, right, only like targets super voters. So I've learned so much through the political process where we're not even targeting people that are not voters and engaging them. Like we're in a game within the game. That's the game, right? And then there's so much money involved. Everybody want to line their pockets. They don't. Let me just be real with you. Nobody give a damn about the ground. They just want to use us, just like Mr. William McCormick said. They just want to use us. You feel me? They don't want to listen. They don't want to provide us any form of opportunities for growth to level up like where they at. They hating on the younger folks. You feel me? They hating on people like myself that tell them the truth all up in their face. They give me dirty looks. They look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about because everybody is in it. The majority of the people in the political realm are in it for their best interest, for the interest of the money. You feel me? Like there's so much waste. Like there's so much waste when it comes to money. right? I've seen it. Like, I cannot wait to get on my YouTube channel because I'm gonna let it all out, like everything. We deserve what we got. You feel me? Because ain't nobody putting in no work. And then they want to call somebody like me and be like, hey, listen, Mona Lisa, I'm having this event. You feel me? Do you think that maybe, and I'm just like, well, what kind of work you putting in? You want me to bring in all my people, but you haven't put in no work. You feel me? So now it's like, where the check at? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody want to use us, and now we like, where the check at? So the ground is completely, we just different. You know what I'm saying? We not connect. Y'all don't understand us. Like, we have nothing in common. Nothing in common, but people up here getting the money and living their lives. Everything is for their families and everything is for whatever they want to do. While the ground is like, we want to learn, like, what's up? How do we get this information? You know what I'm saying? We're just being left behind. And I'm just one that I'm able to maneuver through all systems. And listen, I'm from the dope hole to the penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
From
the courthouse to the political realm. So I know people in every journey. I see people cross paths. They look at me like, oh shit. Yeah, I don't see you at the strip club, Mr. So-and-so with your suit and tie. Yeah, I don't see you over here. Yeah, I don't seen you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a very respectful human being, but nobody could come to me with any bullshit because I see you. Like, oh yeah, a lot of people be doing messed up stuff, but they cover it up in suits and ties. You feel me? And pretty, want to be all pretty, and I can't stand that shit. I just can't.
Hold tight, Mona Lisa. I see you see Sandra.
Yeah, I see Sandra here, but Mona Lisa, I just got to stay with you here for a minute because it's all about putting the work in. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what we've had to do over the years, and it really seems like now you're right. People are the ones that are putting the work in are having some success. But when we talk about the Democratic Party overall, you're absolutely right. The messaging stinks, and nobody's really putting the work in. As Brother McCormick said, we got to utilize every breathing body. We got to let everybody bring their talents to the table. Speaking of talents, we have one sister that was on last week, and we want to go ahead and introduce her and bring her on now and be a part of this conversation. Sister Sandra Sheffery, how are you?
How you doing? I'm looking all rough today, boy. I take this hair like.
You good.
I'm like, oh my God, what's happening over here? How y'all doing?
You're fine.
Good.
Hey, before you say anything, let's see what Terry Dillard is saying. Can you put that up? What Terry said? Ms. Dillard says, here we go. She says, absolutely. No one's walking the streets, knocking on doors, working, talking politics. What did she say? Taking political photos, raising thousands and thousands of dollars for the political campaign, doing nothing but having fundraisers, not connecting with the residents in the community, always asking for a handout and doing nothing in the community. Sandra, what you think to that?
So, listen, I agree with some of what Terry was saying because I got so many text messages asking people for money. You know, asking me for money, saying like, "Oh, I'm $12,000 short from meeting my goal," and then the next day, "Oh, we're $100,000 short from meeting our goal." It was like, and I was getting like 7-10 messages a day per candidate. Because I guess I made the mistake of donating to some campaign. So then everybody got my number. I was getting text messages, emails, and on and on and on. And I know that there's some campaigns that raised a whole bunch of money, but I can't see how the money was spent. I'm like, okay, so what y'all do? Was there black media buys? Were there black ad buys? Like, did you hire any other groups that were locally to help you with this campaign? I didn't see it, but they were. When I'm getting text messages now because they're trying to get me to give money for Georgia and Nevada and Arizona because apparently those are still in play. So I'm getting asked for money. But again, where were the ad buys in like black communities where they wanted black folks to vote? Who is it that they got to be their surrogates and speak on their behalf? I didn't see those people, but I was getting messages. They were raising money though. They were raising money.
You know, and there was an article that said, speaking of raising money, the article said, okay, not only did the Democrats not have the message, they didn't have the money. Within
No,
the
they
money,
had money. They were just spending it differently.
Go ahead. Say it,
No,
Sandra.
they had money. They had money. It was how they were spending their money. There were a lot of campaigns that had money. It was how they were spending that money. Like, for example, Narnique, who's on here, sent me a video of a woman who was talking about Marcus Flowers, who ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene. That dude raised $16 million for his race that he was not going to win, right? Like, when you look at the numbers, he was not winning that race because the place was just too Republican, too uneducated for it to even be a possibility that he was going to win that race. But he got $16 million, but he wasn't going to win that race. So they had money. It's how they spent that money.
I should have been more specific. Say here in the state of Florida, I shouldn't have left that so broad. Because you're right. They, you know, but
Bobby, it's systematic. They had money in Florida too.
Mm-hmm.
They never. I mean, listen to what Mona Lisa said. She has a group that basically is a block vote based on her leadership. They follow her. They trust her. She connects to them. You would think that the party will reach out to her and endorse her work and say, "Here's what we believe. We trust what you're doing. How do we keep you mobilized? How do we help you expand?" And why can't they give her $1 million to build her network, make it a net, so that now we catching bigger fish, more fish, everybody's getting to eat. They're not doing that. They don't advertise until it's last minute. And that's the part that's frustrating because they've done this for so long and it doesn't work. We've been sympathetic, culturally sympathetic. And guess what? It's done caught up because the turnout is done slowed down.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I'm here. I am trying to present some stuff, and y'all can shut me down.
No,
You knew it was here.
they had money. They had money.
Yeah, and we also know that we tried to meet with Manny Diaz from the Democratic Party, and then he gave us some
His assistant.
assistant.
We got snubbed,
You know,
basically.
Yeah,
And now they're calling.
What we used to have is when those persons that were either wanted to be in power or were in power, there were some respect from the NAACP, where if we asked them to meet, you bet they would show up, right? We've lost that thread, that fabric, to make them understand that we're going to connect the dots. The NAACP was just a pathway, but we use every single organization to connect to us because the work is massive, right? I will connect with Attorney Sandra. I will get Mona Lisa organization. I will get the Black newspaper. I will get the community over there who handles the retirement for the elderly. You got to tie the dots to everybody. And if you don't have a pathway to connect that, they're going to continue to just think that we are automatically going to vote for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not what's happening.
Nope.
I mean, Palm Beach is almost red now. Think about that. Miami is literally red. I remember when you would only win a local district position in Miami-Dade, not anymore. And we've all based. And if you're not careful, Bravo's going to follow suit. Then you have nothing.
So let's look at the landscape of Broward. Okay, if I walked outside of my office right now and just look, I could see the encroachment of development coming. So when this development comes, it changed, believe it or not, it changed the whole voting aspect of this community. Mm-hmm. So here we are.
Right, listen here. Let me interject because you make a great point. When they were starting the redistricting of the lines, when they lost cases that prevented the bad lines, they start doing regentification to make up for the bad lines. Mm-hmm. So now what they're saying, oh, what? You keep your line over there. What we're going to do is move your people out and put our people in there inside your line.
Yeah.
So we got to understand this shift. This is a very orchestrated shift going on here because the lines are not going to change because they're unconstitutional. But what's not unconstitutional is for people to move wherever there's a place to stay. And they figured out how to make sure that they put the right kind of dwellings so you can't get in there. It's redlining in reverse.
Mm-hmm. Redlining in reverse. You said it, brother. Okay. You said it.
Okay. Now this. Okay, Sandra. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
No, I said
Okay.
yes. Yes, sir. I'm listening.
Okay. Here we have this made up development for those who can't afford to be here, that at one time voted in a specific way. Now that we can't live here anymore, so the voting power changes, right? The voting power changes. Now you want to say that we don't vote, right? We don't vote. Is it that we don't vote, or we have nothing to vote for?
So it's a combination of both of those things, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, not even last week, a few days ago, I was talking to, I'm not going to identify the relative, but I was speaking to one of my relatives, and they have a child that's 20 years old that's eligible to vote. And I was like, did y'all vote yet? And he was like, Auntie, I voted last year. I'm like, what? No, I'm like, okay, I understand you voted last year, but there's an election that's happening. Mind you, this is during early voting, where people had already been voting for like 10 days already. And he didn't even realize or know this, talking about he voted last year, right? So it's a combination of that. So some people aren't voting because they don't know, they're not getting the information. Where are they going to get it from? Like, I'm also one of those people, like, I don't watch local news. It just so turned out, I don't watch TV like that. I watch everything on demand because I work all day and all that type of stuff. So if you're not in certain spaces, and we're especially young folks, they can literally create their world that they don't need to know what's going on because they're on their phones, playing their game, watch what they like. So they don't need to know what's happening outside. So unless there's efforts made to make sure they get that information, they're not going to get that information, right? So yeah, they're not voting because half of them don't even know that there's anything to vote for because they've created their own bubble for them to exist, right? And yes, some of the communities are changing, so those folks are voting, but no, people didn't know, and even the ones who did know, they had certain people that they were voting for. There was a race in Miami where even my mother thought she was going to be able to vote for this candidate, but it turns out my mother wasn't in the district, and she was upset. She said, well, I want to vote for her. I was like, well, you ain't in her district, so you can't vote for her. I know a family of 5 that went to vote. They went to vote because they thought they were going to vote for this particular candidate. She was also not on their ballot because they don't live in her district, and they all walked out. Right? You know, and then someone that's actually on, but I won't identify because I wasn't given permission to identify. They said they were at the voting place, and people had certain palm cards that didn't have all of the candidates that were on their ballot. And so when they got to the candidates that wasn't on the palm card, they was like, well, who do I vote for? I don't know. So it was a whole lot of things going on. There was a whole lot of things going on that should not have been taking place while people were already in the room to vote. They should have already known what the issues were and who they were going to vote for. And those amendments and referendum and the judges, people didn't know anything about any of that. They got in the room and was like, wait, what? I didn't know this was on here. That is a voter education problem. And that's a problem I'm going to put on the broad Democratic Party, at least here. Definitely Florida Democratic Party didn't do a whole bunch of, they ain't do really nothing as far as I'm concerned, or if whatever they did, it was very little. And so it's a combination of that. So people aren't voting because half of them don't know. And even if they want to vote, they don't know what to vote for or who to vote for because no one's providing that education to them.
You know, and David and I said at the beginning that we were not going to point fingers, but it's hard not to call it out. It's hard. It's extremely hard. We are all burdened after the fact. So God dog it, we should say, okay, Joe Scott, what did you do? What was your role in this? You know, what do you consider to be the part where you dropped the ball? Okay, and voters, what was your role in this? You know, so the whole burdensome pain of this is on all of us. You know,
it is. But, you know, in our communities, we're so accustomed to having leadership in place that kind of help guide us and direct us and keep us on. And personally, I can't just think of one political leader here in Broward County that reach out to or has been carrying the mantle. So it's now it's up to all of us.
Yeah.
So we can't really point one finger. I mean, we can't think some elections going to do it. We can't take all minutes.
Yeah.
We're coming out of COVID,
Yeah.
but these are things that we must continue to put at the forefront if we want to stay blue in Broward County.
Right. You know, and David, you know, you always.
But the Republican Party turn out their voters. So what's the difference? What they doing and what we're not doing?
Yeah.
But then again, when you have these multiple leaders, we are as so-called leaders, as Mona Lisa mentioned, not everybody's our leader. So we got to make sure that they got the same message too. Because now we got missed messages.
So in terms of the leadership, right? Okay, so yeah, well, you know what, the communities used to having leaders and people that are giving direction, but there were people that was getting paid to put this information out there, right? So yeah, well, they have a leadership, but there was people cashing checks like every other week or every month, however they get paid. There was cashing checks to put this information out there, and they didn't do that. So yes, I think leadership is important. However, there were people that were getting paid to do this job and they didn't do it, and that can't be okay. That can't be okay.
So
go ahead, Mona. You about to say something?
So the money's being put in the wrong hands. That's just the bottom line. And the thing is that I truly believe that in some way, form, or weird fashion, they don't really want the streets to rise up. It's too much to handle. You know what I'm saying? Because what's going to happen is when the streets rise up, we not with this rhetoric. A lot of people gonna get hurt because one thing about the ground, the streets, they are loyal, they have integrity, they're raw, they're honest, and what you see is what you get. Whether it rubs you the wrong way or not, at least you know what you're working with. And what I realized is, for me, I've had to back off a lot of stuff because I'll catch a charge messing with these people. I'm telling you right now, the lack of the disrespect, the disrespect, the condescending, the belittling, the judgment, you feel me, is out of control. So because I consider myself ground worker, me being from the ground, I have to step back because there's only so much I'm finna take before shit gets real. You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh, well, you know, they're not voting and they're not this and it's this and it's whatever, you know, how dare they, and their ancestors died and da. Yeah, but like, how about y'all? Y'all a bunch of thieves, y'all a bunch of liars, y'all a bunch of hypocrites. Y'all like let's really have a conversation about where is the money going? Because it's definitely not hitting the ground, but everyone expects the ground to come up for them, and there's never been any damn change. You know what I mean?
But I would like to see, Bobby, at some point when we as a culture, as a people, understand speed limit set by law. The speeding ticket fine set by law. Child support payment set by law. Right? I mean, I can go down the whole list of everything that impact our community is set by law, and we letting these people who don't give a shit about us set the damn laws. So we should have an interest, a general culture interest, that how do we get the right people to make sure the laws are representing our interests? Otherwise, we just perpetuating the system.
Okay, Bill. I said something last week, and somebody made a comment, and it was to the fact that basically don't continue to talk about somebody that did something wrong. You know, I still say, and I will say this until it changes. The moment when we had 5 elected officials try to go after one seat, they left their seats. Now they can sum it up and say any kind of that they want to say. Well, it was almost this time and term limits and all. Bull crap. You left your seat. You went AWOL on your people. You became self-serving for your interests and not for the people. When that happened, when those 5 elected officials left their seat, we found ourselves in turmoil, and we haven't come out of that yet. Whole filthy mentality of being selfish is carried over, and it's going to carry over until, like Mona Lisa says, till the streets rise up, you know, and we stop this. Neither of those 5 people who left those seats have, neither one of them got elected since.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they sure didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't.
Now we're talking about where do we go from here? How do we move forward as a people? How do we do this? Stop me, Malcolm.
No, you know that's a heated conversation, and we want to really keep the tempo up because this is crucial. I mean, when we look at Broward County right now, if we don't step it up, Broward will be red. Yeah, we see the buildings, we see the condos, we see the big apartment buildings coming here that we know our people can't afford to live in. So what is that saying? They're eventually going to be gentrified or move out of this community, and then the voting base will
go
immediately shift.
Check the contributors to those who are running for office. Let's do some homework. You know, if we want to move forward, let's check the contributors list, the donations. What do you call them? The people who put money behind these people. Check them out. Check them out and see what's happening. It's not us. We're only telling the truth. So check it out. And if we're to move forward, we need to understand. We need to do our research and understand and trust those. Trust the streets. The streets don't lie. The streets have reason to lie. So trust the streets. Trust what these people are saying here. You know.
But Bill and Mona Lisa, I have questions for you because I think both of you guys hit it on where's that gangster politician, the one that's gonna go out there and do the work, the one that's gonna really put it in.
Like we got a ticket right there.
Are we grooming them? I mean, you know, what is our succession path for bringing great politicians, especially here in Florida and locally? Either one of you guys, Bill, Mona Lisa.
Well, I'm not really sure if there's any grooming going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest with you. What I do know is that me personally, I ask questions. I have different acquaintances in all different realms of life, from the streets to politics to the courtroom to this. So I have a diverse group of people that I can call and ask questions. Shout out to Perry Busby and even Bobby Henry. Like, I'm always calling, trying to find things out because political education is extremely, I'm not going to say it's difficult, but it's a lot. You know what I mean? Even from city to city, right? Like, to learn one city, like in Hollywood, there's 6 districts, there's 6 commissioners, but then Hollandale is completely different. There are no districts. So it's like, even from city to city to city, we have to learn the political realm. So I say we start from the bottom. Like, I want to give a shout out to Katrina Touchstone. She just won seat 1 in West Park. This is her 3rd year running. She on the ground. And the way that these folks did her, you know, last year and stuff of that nature, like really tried her, disrespected her. And she really puts in work, is aware of everything that's happening on every block. She posts what's going on over here. And it's like the people in power, right? Those, like the way they did her and they mistreated her instead of guiding her and handing the baton, they literally tried her and disrespect her. I mean, it couldn't have been me. So I give her all the praises in the world. I love her. I think she's going to do a great job. We already spoke. We're already planning. Because it's time, honestly, it's just time for a lot of these folks to move, get out the way, like get out the way and let us come through, because we want real change. We really care a lot. In my opinion, what I have seen and what I have experienced and how I have been treated, right, by people in the political realm, it's all about self-serving and looking good. You feel me? That's really what it's about. They don't care. They're already set. They're not. A lot of these people don't even care about their own children, let alone other people's children. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the stuff that I see and I experience. And for me to be like treated a certain type of way with all the work that I do and been ignored, and I'm asking questions, it's like, oh no, you know this or whatever. Like, I'm just out of that realm. I don't hang out with anybody political. I'm not really in these spaces. We're just going to start creating our own space. You know what I'm saying? Because we have warrior spirits and we coming through. Right. And by Katrina Touchstone winning, Rod Velez winning, Rod Velez just literally destroyed a racist legacy. And I am so happy about that. By him winning, a racist legacy has been destroyed. So those 2 examples locally in South Broward will be used to teach the people. Katrina Touchstone didn't even have a campaign manager. She barely had any money. She knocked on so many doors. So money is, for me, money is important for like digital and advertisement and then doing events for the community. But there is an excessive amount of money that's going into people's pockets because someone who truly cares stretches those $100 like I have done in community work to feed as many people or do as much as you can for a community. So for me, it's just everybody that's in this just get out the way. Just move, get out of the way. You are done. It's over with. Like, get out.
So on that point, Mona Lisa is telling them to get out the way. They're not going to do that, right? They're not going to get out. No, they're not doing that. They're not voluntarily getting out of the way or nothing, okay? Because it's too beneficial to them personally for them to get out the way. So forget telling them to get out the way. But what we did learn is because now that they have a disconnect, they don't understand the community. And like the examples you gave with Dr. Touchstone and Rob Velez, those people were connected to the community because those are the ones who vote. So you need to be connected to those people. They're the ones that's going to vote for you, and that's how you win, right? So what we need to do is not tell the community that they don't got to be scared to run against these people because they got millions of dollars, right? Because that's part of what it is. Folks are like, oh, but who am I? You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no money. I can't do this. I can't do that. So they won't run. So now they were like, no, but you know everybody. There were people that were winning seats with 1,000 votes. There's some places in Miami-Dade County where people want a seat having 250 votes. I got more friends on Facebook. I got more than 250 friends on Facebook. So that's all like, if I could just get all my United States citizen friends on Facebook to vote for me, I could win a seat. You understand what I'm saying? So when we think about it in terms of that people were winning seats with 3,000 votes, 4,000 votes. You could do this, right? And then you had people who had millions of dollars that could not figure out a way to connect to those individuals to vote for them to make up that 950,000 votes that they lost. That's because they weren't talking to the people. So what I say is they ain't moving. You got to push them out the way, and the community can do it. You got people winning races with 3,000 votes. Between all of us, we got more friends on Facebook, and we can put up a candidate and they'll win the next election, okay? So we don't need them to move. Y'all just going out the way because the people are here to do this work since y'all we gave y'all the responsibility. People gave y'all money, gave y'all a license to do it, and you abused it, didn't treat it right. So now it's not up to you no more. We're gonna do this work ourselves because we can do it. We can do it. Like, well, who needs you now? Like,
the difference between the political power and the political position is what we just got described, right? The political position is what Mona Lisa says. They just happy to be elected. They ain't connected to nobody. And then Attorney Sanders says, wait a minute, you want power? Then that means the community is backing you. So we can get rid of these sorry asses that they're not political leaders. They're just people who got elected because they're not educating the people on the issue. They're not standing for anything. It's all about them. They ain't help nobody. It ain't genuine. They're not a worker. They work last minute, and they think they're smarter than everybody. You know what? Time for them to go.
Okay, you know something, and all of this energy centered around right there. Can y'all read some of the comments that the audience is saying? I mean, if we could put some of them up there, it's
their time and right in on
everything you I'm saying everything you say. What I want to emphasize is, we got all that energy, all that newness. Now, how do we harness that? Who do we trust to take that stallion and ride him across the finish line, appropriately? Not allow the same thing to happen, which has occurred. What has happened is we've seen the recycling of bullshit. We've seen it. It's just being recycled. Same shit, different day, but it's being recycled. So who do we put on the backs of those stallions who are willing to work and willing to take charge and do it? You just can't let them run. They got all the energy. You just can't let them just run. They have to have a purpose. They have to have a purpose. So how do we do this? We get rid of the BS.
Yeah, I mean, all our communities have different needs, right? But they got the same people that live in there. We got black people living there. You name the races, they live in the community, but different needs. What we have to do, and we have not done a great job at this, it was started, and I really miss Carlton Moore. I really miss Joe Eglishon. I really miss the people who were setting the tone for continued communities, right? And that fabric has definitely been pulled away. But until we can take the young people and show them how to find their destiny and give them the energy and support them, so they don't have to feel inferior. They don't have to feel that they don't know everything. They don't have to know everything. We don't know everything, but we got to embrace them and give them a fair shot to fix some of the jurisdictional issues we have. Number one. Number two, they got young leaders. We just need to groom them, show them what they need to know, and let them use their own energy and their own acumen or their own brains to go get it done. Number three, we got to take advantage of all the talent. It's so much talent. We're picking and choosing the wrong folk, right? They may be popular, but they ain't bringing nothing to the table. We need real leadership. Leading is very hard work, right? It's basically a 24-hour job. And unfortunately, if it don't go right, you got to take all the blame. When it go good, you go get no credit. That's what leaders have to do. And if they're not willing to do that, then we got to make sure we're not picking those people to be the ones in front of this carriage.
Okay, so with the leadership thing, I'm not sure I fully understand how you using the word leadership, for example, right? Like I'm not, because I'm a lawyer and we hear words differently and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm not sure what that means, because that could mean a whole bunch of different things to a whole bunch of different people, right? Mm-hmm. So like, say for example, we want, Mona Lisa was talking about the people, and I think in Hollywood, right, or like West Park or whatever. So say somebody wants to run and be a commissioner in West Park, they ain't got to be a leader for everything. They just need to know all things West Park, right?
Exactly. That's my point.
What's good in West Park. So yes, we keep throwing around this leadership role, but part of what we do, one of the problems that we have is we be trying to do too much, right? Mm-hmm. Like everything is our ministry. Like we doing this, we doing that. No. We don't need all your ministry. You want to be a commissioner in West Park? We just need you to know all things West Park. We're gonna get that West Park person to do West Park stuff, right? Somebody want to do school board? Okay, you got to go to the meetings, understand how the board works, figure out what it is they need, and you do school board stuff. So you ain't got to be a jack of all trades. No, we need y'all to focus, pick somebody in that community, and let them do this. And some folks, they need us to like get them filing fees, because apparently that costs what it costs. Put it in there and be like, okay, we got your back. We're going to help you get the numbers and vote. So we don't need nobody to be a leader in all things. We just need you like, this what you're going to do. Focus on that. Do that well, and we good. We're going to cover the rest of the stuff.
That's correct. That's what I mean by jurisdictional leadership. Exactly what you just described. That's the jurisdictional leadership that we got to have. Because you can be in West Park. I don't need you up at Deerfield. You got nothing to do with Deerfield, right? Nope. All communities got their own issues, and that's what we need to be. So in other words, you stay in your lane, you drive your own car, put your seatbelt on, so if you hit a bump, you don't fall out, you just fall over. And that's a big difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think they do need to have blinders on, just right here. Just right here. Don't forget what's happening over there, right here.
On Sandra's point, like, I was never asked to be a leader. All I did was go out and serve my people and use the knowledge that I had as a former probation officer, advocate in court, and do what I do. I never asked to be a leader. I don't know how that name even came on me. I'm like, I'm not a leader. I'm just here serving God. You know what I'm saying? I'm just taking care of our people.
But Mona Lisa, because you're an advocate makes you a leader. That's what leaders do. They advocate for the cause. They seek answers. They help people in need. Their vision is very different than a common person. So you're a leader by nature of you being an advocate. So that's why.
Okay, there's one of the viewers is saying, and I can't pronounce the first name. I'll just say Pete. And he said something earlier about we need to stop using the term of leadership and call it representation. That's if it walked like a duck and it quacked like a duck, it is a duck. So and Sandra, you alluded to the fact that as an attorney, you wordsmith, you do a lot of stuff with words. So maybe we just should stop just using all of this jargon and call it what it is. We need somebody who cares about us, and take the reins and run with it. Again, I keep I keep, you know how the old men used to say, you know, boy, you full of piss and vinegar. You know, you got, but you need to, I know you need to harness this. You know, you need to harness this. You need to harness that. And what has happened is that the harnessing has been whitewashed and negated with selfishness, and it's producing the same thing over and over and over. It's regurgitating stuff over and over and over. Biblically speaking, you know, the dog don't go back to the vomit, but we're doing it constantly. We're constantly doing that, so we got to get away from that. You know, yeah, I mean, the truth is bittersweet, you know, and sometimes we don't want to take the medicine because it's nasty, you know. But in order for us to get better, we got to take that nasty medicine, and it's the truth.
Well, you know, we're seeing that regurgitation, and that's what our youth are going to implement. Yes. Those same old fake leaders. So what we need to do,
a fake representation,
however you want to call it. Yeah. But we need to call people out. You know, there are many times when we see names on the ballot, and we know, why are you in this race?
Herschel Walker,
why are you in this race? And trust me, they're going to continue to try to pin people against the true candidate, you know, just to kind of throw them off, especially when they're in districts that are heavily matched, when they're almost 50-50, Democrat, Republican. But the fact of the matter is, we have to find those ones that are on fire, that are hungry, that are servants, that want to help the community, and get behind them and support them.
Oh boy. This thing is more than a notion. Mm-hmm. It's more than a notion. When we, I'm sorry, go ahead, Marlise.
I'll say one thing, and I'm gonna step back when I say this. When I started this journey, I really looked up to a lot of people, and I'm speaking straight from my heart right now. Like, I really looked up, like, you know, because you know when you don't know things, you kind of seek for guidance. You feel me? You know what I mean? And I'm just like really seeking. And those that know me that I've suffered a lot, you know. And I'm disgusted. Like, it hurts my heart that, like, we can't even, like, ask for guidance or depend on older folks or people that have the knowledge. Like, it's really sad. And I don't want to be that to the younger generation. Like, I don't want the younger generation to look at me like when I turn 70 and be like, damn, dog, you ain't teach us nothing. You ain't this. All you did was out here parading or whatever. Like, that would be a true, and I don't want to leave this earth with that. Like, and I'm disgusted and I'm hurt because when we're looking for guidance, like, we really lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really lost in this shit. And I was really like seeking and speaking to people. And what I saw in this political thing is just really embarrassing. And it's really hurtful when younger folks are really looking for answers, for guidance, for mentorship. And it's almost like we got to beg for that shit. Like, we got to beg for it. Please help us. We're trying to figure this out. We got our kids dying. I know friends that lost their children to gun violence. I have gun violence. I have gun family members who have survived from gun violence. I have close friends from gun violence, suicide, mental health, displaced, homelessness. And we ask, and everybody takes it as a joke. And I'm just really hurt and disappointed because we really have no one to go to really get deep strategy and answers. So I'm just always honored because I pray and meditate a lot, and I use the knowledge that I have acquired to actually create a plan of action with some ground folks moving forward. Because the people in the political realm are not reliable nor dependable, and it's really, they just don't care. And I just wanted to say that because I am very hurt And I had told Sandra the other day when I saw her, I'm like, listen, man, once I come back out, I'm gonna advocate no voting. And I'm gonna put the pressure, like we're gonna boycott no voting, right? But then when I saw how Katrina won and Rod Velez won, right?
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
I could touch it. Like we can use this as examples. I'm kind of leaning to getting back in the game and really strategizing with ground folks because I've learned a lot through the process. But I just want to tell everybody out there, like, it's very hurtful and a lot of us are very lost and we really wanted some guidance and we just, you know, shit, everybody knows who I am for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But like,
I want to comment a little bit on some of what Mona Lisa said, right? And she told me this at Souls to the Polls because I didn't know if she had said that or not because I came on the show late. And when she said that, I was like, nah, man, I don't want you taking that position, right? Because I understand what she's saying. Like I started once I got into this space, I found out how the sausage was made and I didn't like it, right? Because we know how the sausage tastes, but we don't want to know what's going in it. We don't want to know how the sausage is made. And I'm telling you, when you get on this side and you see how the sausage is made, you be like, yo, this is like effed up. Like it is effed up. And for different reasons. Like, so some of it is effed up because the people truly are effed up, right? And then some of it is effed up because it's just the whole nature of the beast it is not for the weak. It is just not for the weak. It's not for the weak, right? But the point is, like, yeah, once you find out how the sausage is made, you're gonna be like, God dang, I ain't trying to do this, right? But we can't. You be like, oh, because when people ask me, are you gonna run? I'm like, y'all crazy. I ain't no way on this earth I'm gonna ever do no stuff like that. I'm not subjecting myself, my friends, my family, nobody to none of this, right? Because again, I'm 305 all day, and I'm gonna say some stuff that ain't gonna be nice, right? And I don't need to be going viral for being stupid. So no, right? Because I know how the sausage is made, and I want no parts of it. But at the same time, like Mona Lisa said, with Dr. Touchstone winning and folks winning, it could be done, right? We just gotta not buy into these folks that's really doing this to raise a whole bunch of money and then to have a pack afterwards, and then they set themselves up, right? So we have to be able to discern from the folks that's really wanting to do this work and committed, because it takes a lot to do stuff for the people, right? We need people. We got to be able to discern who's really in this to do this work, and then the ones who just like they were handpicked by folks for whatever reason, right? And then they get to collect all this money and not necessarily have the effort or the energy or really the desire to really put in the work, because they probably found out how that sausage was made. They was like, wait, what? This what I'm signed up for? Ain't nobody trying to do all this. And then but they've already committed, so they gotta, go through the motions and make it. And like, yeah, I'm trying to win, and they ain't trying to win nothing because they don't want no part of none of this, because it ain't easy. This is not for the weak. It is not for the weak. It is absolutely not for the weak. But I'm so glad you changed your position on that, because I was like, oh, please don't start that, because
I thought you got mad at me.
I know the influence Mona Lisa had, and if she go around telling people not to vote, people ain't gonna vote. They're really not going to vote. So no candidate want her to go around telling people don't vote. I'm just letting y'all know. If y'all don't know, y'all need to know. Y'all don't want to take on that message.
Mm-hmm. But no, we're warriors.
And I was like, oh my God, I hope Sandra's not mad at me.
I ain't mad. I was just like, what?
But sometimes you have to bring some kind of shock in the messaging so that we can get people really riled up. Now, we're really not saying we don't want you to vote, but we want you to think about this to the degree that, hey, I got to get fired up in some kind of way. And if the people aren't treating us right, they're disrespecting us, we want them to know that there's some cards on the table here that we might have to play. But at the same time, Mona Lisa, you're a warrior. Sandra, Bill, we are warriors in this game. And that's what we got to do, continue to fight. We can never give up the fight.
That's right. Fannie Lou Hamer said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. If you're black, you already behind the ball. So let's understand that. Do not forget that. We're already there. So Mona Lisa, your pain, your agony, your whole distraught, God dog it, that's what we need. That's what moves us. It ain't this little. And y'all excuse me. Yeah, I understand Roe versus Wade, But that ain't got a doggone thing to do with me when I'm hungry and I got to pay my rent and I ain't got no job. Nobody's talking about that. You know, you're giving me some other stuff for some other people. You know, yeah. All right, our time is getting down. Bill, I know how we gonna do this?
Well, we're gonna sum it up. We're gonna let everybody close out. Tell us a little bit more about where do we go from here.
Oh yeah, we do the athlete of the week. Do we have that? Do we have the athlete of the week before we get too far? We want to highlight, you know, our young people. And this week's athlete of the week is a female. Yeah, we don't have it right in front of us. I'm so sorry. We got to do better than this. Read the Westside Gazette. You'll see it. Okay. What area I said? No, sir. Okay. So we gotta make this better. And Sandra, I want to tell people too. For those of you who don't know Sandra, she's an attorney, and she also has a podcast, Race Matters. The races. How does it go? That matters.
Racing the races.
Yeah. So and somebody said, you know, you three right there, that's a ticket. You know, it's a ticket right here with you three. Yeah, there's something that we.
It's a hood ticket.
Make our own sausage. But there's, I'm sorry, y'all, it's something that we're supposed to do to galvanize our people. You know, it's something that we're supposed to do.
This is the coalition itself right here.
Yeah.
I mean, these power brokers right here can really get some things moving and some things done across all communities here in South Florida.
Oh, look what Ms. Robinson said. Mimi says we need a round table or a think tank or a focus group. The answers are out. Oh, you sound like, what was that show? The answer, the truth is out there somewhere. Right on, Mimi. You're absolutely right. And our listeners, I want you guys to truly, when we come together at this round table, we expect all of you to be there. You're not gonna do us like love us on Monday and hang us on Friday. You know, you're not. No. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it together. So we need a commitment from y'all as well.
We're in it for the long haul.
Yeah. But that's okay.
So as we wrap it up tonight, guys, we're gonna still go with ladies first, and we started with you, dear sister Mona Lisa. So where do we go from here?
Well, since I worked about 4 months in this election, I'm a rest till after the holidays. And we're having conversations already. So where the ground goes from here is meeting the people where they're at and creating spaces for education. So that's kind of like we're moving in slow motion with that, because me and one of my homegirls out of Pompano, she's a huge influencer. We've been talking all year, almost every Sunday, about our people, the state of our people, the mindset, the lack, and we've been creating different ways of how we can fulfill those things and also teach consistently voter education. Because now I got it down pat, I can really relate it to the ground in a way that they can understand it. So that's what we're doing. We're planning, and then we'll be coming to folks to kind of join in, because it's time for the ground to lead. And I've been called upon that a little bit to give my input based on my experiences. And then we're also connected to some huge artists. So, you know, there's always like that 6 degrees of separation. So we're really going to be using like certain local artists and strategy and events around the community to serve them, to bring them out, and really plan and strategize accordingly. Because now we all have a better idea how to work it from January 2023 till June of 2024.
Absolutely. Prepare for 2024. Thank you, Mona Lisa. Sandra.
Okay.
All
right. So what I want to say is like, so all these campaigns that lost, don't talk to each other. Y'all need to go and talk to other folks, right? Because those cabinets that, we're gonna get together and regroup. Nope, you don't need to talk to the other losers that were part of your team, okay? Because that ain't gonna get you nowhere. All right. And I mean it, I said it, I mean it, and I mean it for real, right? Because clearly y'all ain't know what y'all were doing, considering how badly most of them lost, right? We had candidates that was in bed by 9 o'clock. if your candidate was in bed by 9 o'clock, you had a losing strategy and you do not need to be talking to each other. Y'all need to go talk to some of them folks that are still counting right now, or the ones that were counting till midnight. Don't talk to each other because that ain't gonna get nowhere. Because the one thing you're not gonna want to do is to admit the level of the failure that happened on Tuesday night, right? So maybe you need to take a break and talk about it in January, but don't waste your time talking about it right now because you can't see it, right? You can't see it. You don't want to accept it. So I need y'all to don't be talking to each other right now. Go ahead, take a break, process, and let it really sink in because you're going to still lie to yourself. And then go talk to other folks and figure out what it is that y'all need to do different, right? And don't be trying to all get back together and run nobody else's campaign because that was an absolute failure that happened on Tuesday night in the state of Florida. Yep, I said all that and I mean it too.
Well,
You said it. You mean it. All right, Brother Bill. Same
I do.
I mean, with all due respect, anybody get their ass beat that bad, they deserve some consolation, but they don't get any. So here's what I would definitely recommend to go forward for change. I think the state Democratic leader or representatives and the county Democrat representative need to meet with our community. They need to understand what the hell we want and stop telling them tell us what they want to give us. We need to sit down now. This is the prime time to put our agenda on the table. And the question is, who's presenting the agenda, right? We got to make sure that the agenda is holistic, it's inclusive, and it does not discriminate on age, talent, skill, background. We need it all on the table and put it out front. And so now they've been put on notice, right? Attorney Sandra will tell you, you got to put the people on notice before you sue them, right? You got to file a complaint.
You got to give them notice and opportunity.
Notice and opportunity. So we're going to do that first. But in the meantime, while they're figuring out what they're going to absorb from this agenda list, we need to get our ground game right? We need to get it from county to county line, south and north, east and west, get our ground game right, find out who's in those areas, bring them to the table, and let's put a real strategy together to make sure we don't have anybody representing issues that don't relate to us. We don't need them. We don't want them. We ain't claiming them.
I have to say amen on that one.
I'm telling you.
That's an amen. Wow. What 3 outstanding guests we had tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I concur with you and them wholeheartedly. So I'm looking at a winning ticket, or at least the making of an organization, or the buttressing up an organization. When you buttress, when you assist in building it up, that's what I'm looking at. So, but
Coalition of a think tank right here. A super groundswell. I mean, whatever you want to call it, I see it right here, and I think our listeners got a lot out of this conversation tonight. Yeah. All the viewers out there, we appreciate all your comments. I know we couldn't get to all of them, but when you have a panel like this, I mean, it's such a wealth of knowledge, and we really appreciate all of you for coming on tonight. Anything else you want to share?
You do your closing part now.
Well,
I like to come in at the end.
We do this thing called How Bad Do You Want It?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Well, then I want to say this. Now, somebody said something back in the chat, and I believe it was Narnique, when she said the power is not in the. Narnique, you remember what you said? The power is not in the. Where can we find it?
The power is not in the people.
It's with the people.
It's with the people, not in the people in power.
There you go.
There you go. The power is with the people, not the people in power.
Yeah, I like that. I also want to say this too. Well, okay. Let me say this. If we're creating a team, right? And that's what we're trying to do, create a winning team, right? Now, a team consists of many people, not just one, not I. It's a team, so it's many. Now, with that team, there's a need for a coach, right? You got a team, you got all this young, raw talent from the streets, from the nitty-gritty dirt band. You got all this, but you need a coach. Now, a good coach hear me, a good coach understands that a player would rather get in the game and lose than sit on the bench and win. Everybody want to play. And a coach understands that. There comes a time when everybody should play. If it's a team, we all got a responsibility and something to do. Now, that's my 2 cents. Now, how bad do you want it?
Well, I want it just as bad. It's all a team sport. Life is a team sport. And when we work together as a community, we can make that happen. We've already identified 3 dynamic people in this community. I know there are a few more. We don't need a whole lot of people. What we need are, like we said, committed people to the cause that love the community and are willing to put in the work, to do the strategy, to do the groundwork, to go out in the streets and in the communities and make this Broward County a better place for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Thanksgiving is coming up, right?
Yeah.
We have a light session next week.
Yeah, I think we talked about asking people, what are they thankful for?
Yeah, what are you thankful for? We're gonna do that next
We're
week.
gonna do some,
Yeah.
and kind of take it outside of the realm
take it outside
of what's the norm. We want to do a little
Lighten up a little bit because there's some heavy stuff coming down.
Yeah.
Also, our listeners and viewers, if you got a favorite recipe that you want to share next week, why don't you share it with us and let's use it. Let's see what we can do. Let's lighten this thing up. Bill McCormick.
Yes, sir.
How bad do you want it?
I want it so bad I can taste my blackberry cobbler that I'm going to sing the recipe at next week. Since I make a mean blackberry cobbler, old-fashioned, old-school blackberry cobbler. Yes. I want it bad enough that I can taste the young people rising to the top. And I commit to be available for any of them who need to meet with our little old country boy from Georgia that just been in business for 32 years and have served the community as a organization president and currently as the chair of the board of his university. So I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I got a lot of resources. I know how to find people. I know how to find the answer. And I constantly make myself available.
Okay, good. Mona Lisa, how bad do you want it?
I want it bad enough that I have developed the patience to strategize to change one commissioner, one mayor, one school board member at a time. We have to be patient. We have to see the long-term vision because this instant gratification thing is killing us. So I want it bad enough to be patient enough to create a long-term consistent strategy.
Okay. Attorney Sandra, how bad do you want it?
So I want it bad enough that I'm still at this, right? You know what I mean? There's so many ways, so many times to just walk away from it and you don't. And now what I do is I move with intention, right? I move with intention. Like I said last week when I was on the show, when it was time for me to go vote, I went and looked at the places to go vote. I saw the place that had the least amount of folks that were voting there. And I went over there and I voted. I went live, and that was at Carver Ranches in West Park. And right after that, and I'm not taking responsibility for this, but I'm just saying the numbers went up after that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not taking responsibility for that, but I think we need to highlight it. So I want it bad enough that I'm willing to go into all these small communities and talk to small spaces, and I'm willing to continue to do our show, even if it's 5 people watching or it's 500 people watching. It don't matter. I want it bad enough that I'm gonna continue to put this message out. And then the other thing that I did that I try not to do is call organizations out and put blame where it is, because I always try to find a bright side of things, but this ain't got no bright side. And I want it bad enough that I'm gonna call them out and say there was no bright side to Tuesday night in Florida for the Democratic Party, and they need to get it together.
Wow.
Call them out.
Well, I think we said it all, except Bill McCormick, you got a birthday coming up Saturday.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy your birthday.
Birthday.
And everybody, and I can't pronounce Peter's first name. How do you pronounce that? We need to get him or her on the show. I don't know if
It's probably
It's a-
Peterson. He's probably one of my Haitian brothers.
Peterson.
that's Peterson.
It's probably Peterson.
Okay,
Peterson.
okay. Stop passe, Peterson. We need to get you on the show. But he says solutions will be greatly appreciated. We ain't just talking, Peter. You can help us.
Yeah.
We're giving the solutions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's it, thank you so very much, everyone. God bless you all. And this is only the beginning. Hold up.
Thank
What
you
is
for
that?
having us.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So we good?
We good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Good night.
Thank
all.
you so much.
Yeah.